Good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Good? Good? All right. Unfortunately, we got to come to you with some bad news, I would imagine. People have heard already. They take off from the Migos, unfortunately, has expired. Apparently, he was at an event, a private event at a bowling alley in Houston. And if I'm not mistaken, they said Quavo was participating in a dice game. And they said in a dice game, but where he looked, I seen some footage um, after he was shot, and he looked like he was out on the balcony in front, on the balcony walkway in a mall area. So I guess the bowling alley was at the mall. But they said they were shooting dice. So I mean, maybe the bowling alley closed. They had a dice game cracking in front. You know, just doing what they do. I lived in Houston um, for almost a year uh, back in 2000, a very long time ago. And so, um, Houston functions pretty much like Los Angeles. You got your major players, and then you got your lieutenants and generals and whatnot. Everybody trying to move up, and it's a very delicate balance. It's where the politics come in at. Unfortunately, the young male bravado and young ego is very fragile. We don't never want to be challenged. Um, and sometimes when we are challenged, the response is very visceral. Um, it goes deeper into deeper things that we issues we have as black men in America. And the reality and the fact is, unless you own your own business, you have very little power. And so when you don't have power, um, you will lash out. And unfortunately, when people lash out, they lash out at the people that looks like them, or the people that love them, or actually in the corner. Um, we hurt in proximity of where we are and who we're with. That being said, we all need to do better. The temperament of the dice game was going against Quavo, according to some of the reports. As we all do, we talk what we talk when we talk it. And we talk it in a manner in which to get somebody to understand what we're talking about. Sometimes that vernacular can take a very uh, aggressive tone, very aggressive tone. Um, and once again, male bravado, ego. We're not playing those games. You're not going to talk to me like this, and I don't like your posture and your tone. It gets out of hand quick with us. Um, and unfortunately, somebody lost their life after one of these similar altercations. I keep going out. I don't like rolling the big ass thumb size blunts. We good enough, you ain't got to worry about that. But anyway, He had it again, man. I mean, at this point, being a famous rapper, getting some real notoriety about yourself as a rapper, as an asset to a record label or asset to a group, an asset to your family, with the bills that you pay, has become one of the most dangerous occupations in the United States for a young black man. Is to become successful as a rapper and then lose your life before you turn 30. 30 years is a short span. I think Takeoff is 28 years old. It's tragic. It's tragic. My condolences to his family, his mother, father, sister, brother, kids, his uncle Quavo, right? Condolences go out to them and strength to them in this time. Because just like I'm commentating on it, I want to be as respectful as possible. I seen some people posting video of the man laid out. It's very disrespectful. Uh, I didn't care to even complete, watching the video. Um, we got reports of what went on, and we don't necessarily need to see the graphic details. So I'm pretty sure his parents, his kids, his mother, his family don't need to see that either. Um, you know, maybe YouTube will go ahead and exercise, the community guidelines and take it down, even though they put up the, a parental advisory or whatever the case may be. Some things just don't need to be seen. And a black man expiring on the sidewalk, to me, is not necessarily something we want to see. Um, I don't know, man. It's just a somber moment, man. You look back at the last 2 3 years, man, and the hip hop community has been taking tremendous hits, man. Tremendous hits. I mean, it's at the point to where we've now become really desensitized to the idea that a rapper's been shot and killed or slain. But we gotta realize that these young men are more than just rappers. They're human beings. They're fathers. They're providers. Um, you know, they're doing the best they can with the hands they were dealt. We need to be honest. A lot of us don't care about education. So what that does in the long run is that puts you in a box as far as the money you can make if you choose to be an employee or a worker. Now, if you have the fortitude about yourself to get a business going and work for yourself and dig it out, then that's for you. But everybody is not that. And so we need to make sure that education is an option for all of us because, I mean, just good common sense. After a while, you're going to remove yourself from some of these situations. I'm not saying run, we never run. The common sense is common sense. You feel it getting a little tight. Somebody should have popped him on the shoulder and said, hey man, come on, calm it down. You know what? It's just bread. Let's go and get up out of here. And a life could have been saved just that quick. So these are the conversations. Like I said, these are the things that I think about, I talk about. Like I said, I lived in Houston for about a year, so I'm familiar. Um, with some of the politics that function. Well, I was familiar with the politics a very long time ago. I have not lived in Houston in over 20 years, and so I can't speak to what's going on right now. But I do understand that, like I said, when I was down there, Houston was functioning pretty much like Los Angeles. It's a big city at its best. I loved Houston. For real, I did. I had a ball down there. I was embraced. So I don't know how things go here and there. Like I said, egos, ballers, and situations involved. People feel like when you get a certain level of money or whatever, that you can talk to anybody the way you want to or function the way you want to. Well, this is America. You probably can. You should be able to, as long as you don't infringe or disrespect nobody else. As long as you don't infringe or disrespect nobody else. So yeah, yeah. Um, if we look back, let's see, it's 2022. Let's just go back, say 5, 6 years. Let's look at some of the names of some of these rappers that have expired um, in the last 6 years. All right, we got the Jacker from up north. He's from Oakland. Some of these guys are regional stars, not necessarily stars on the national level, but definitely they hold it down in their area. And the Jacker was definitely one of those ones that garnered a lot of respect from his fellow rappers in the Oakland area, in the Bay Area. Chinks Drugs out of New York, he held it down, right? Very popular and very strong on his side. Let's move along to somebody else we might know. We got the late great Nipsey Hussle in 2019, Los Angeles shooting. Oh, by the way, the other uh, rappers, the Jacker, Chinks Drugs, 3-2, Extension, all died by gun violence, shootings, gun violence. After Nipsey, there was Pop Smoke. 1 year later, Rob followed him home. If I'm not mistaken, he dropped his pen or his location or whatever, and before you knew it, cats was at his door. They try to blame it on LA, but I think people are hungry everywhere. Just might not be able to get to a store as readily accessible in some of these other cities. LA people out. They're at the restaurant. They're at the Beverly Center. They on Third. They on Santa Monica shopping. They on Sunset having a drink. It's LA. People gonna get out in LA. They don't come to LA not to get out. So when they do get out, they become chicken in the pot. They just don't know they boiling yet. That's all. That was the case here with Takeoff. I just think his situation is a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. All reports say he wasn't even in the dice game. He was on the outskirts. Maybe keeping his eye on his uncle while his uncle was on the dice. There was definitely an altercation, or it wouldn't have been no shots. So there was definitely an altercation. Whether Quavo got upset because his pockets was getting ran, or we don't know. I wasn't there. I have heard a couple different reports, so I'm gonna try to rein it back and try to refrain from putting this stuff out because I don't know yet. Like I said, it just happened this morning. It just happened this morning, less than 5, 6 hours ago. So I'm not gonna play investigator on the internet. That's not my job. What I will investigate is the newsworthy stuff. So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about too deep. I can't go into legal matters because I'm not a detective. Once again, we send our condolences out. We hate the fact that this young man lost his life, or anybody else that might have got hurt last night too. Sometimes we focus on one and don't focus on the other. Getting back to the list though, I think we left off on Pop Smoke. He died in the Hollywood Hills. uh, as a victim of gun violence. We got King Von down in Atlanta, Georgia. So much is going on recently with the other little boy. I'm not the little boy. We don't want to be disrespectful. With the other young man, um, where his friend got shot and killed in Beverly Hills as well. You know, he was the one supposed to have been involved in the King Von shooting. Um, After King Von, they didn't wait long. It was Mo 3. Mo 3 was mowed down on the freeway. Apparently, whoever got in on him was laying in wait. They tried to blame it on the woman he was laying with. We don't know if that was it. We don't know if the dudes just happened to see him or know he was messing with the girl. Seen his car there and jumped on him. We don't know. But apparently Mo 3 seen him coming. He tried to get away and ran into traffic on the freeway, jumped out the car, and was mowed down. Execution style. Oh yeah, that is the Mandalorian. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I know it's nerdy, but it is what it is. I love Star Wars. Great story. Don't matter if it's in space or not. Mo 3 had great harmonizing skills. That young man was just at the peak of blowing up. I don't think we on the West Coast heard about him as much as we did once he died. But unfortunately, that's the kick. You know, these young men die, they blow up, their albums go gold and platinum off of their death. They never get a chance to make 5, 6, 7 full blown albums. Yeah, they'll have 17 mixtapes. It's a nice body of work, but finished, completed, professionally mixed and mastered albums. These cats ain't making them. They're not getting the 3 and 4 albums. They're just not. Like I said in the beginning of the shows, it's a tragedy, man. It's a tragedy. Moving on from Mo 3, we had Young Dolph. Young Dolph, we seen him gunned down in his city in front of the cookie store. Um, they blamed it on hate. They blamed it on friends. It's just a negative culture, man. Some of it we have to take responsibility for. I don't want to get myself in trouble. Um, but let's just look at the industry. If these young men that are performing now that are 18, 25, maybe up to 30 years old, they grew up on music that was produced where I don't want to put it on the gangster rap because it ain't just gangster rap, but where black self hatred was promoted. N words were allowed. Calling black women uh, female dogs was commonplace. There was no to be a pimp, to run several women, to sell dope. These were a lot of things that were glorified. It was kind of like it was black exploitation from the 70s. Rap started in the late 70s. The 80s was about the purest time for rap. It was getting out of the hip, hobbity, hibbity, hibbity, hobbity, and all that, and start being embraced by different areas of the United States. The South um, cultivated their own brand, the West cultivated their own brand, and the Midwest cultivated their own brand through certain signature artists. The South would have been Scarface, the Ghetto Boys, also Big Mike, MJG, Swisher House, Tila, You also had um, Outkast, Andre, Big Boy coming out of Atlanta, and then later on Ludacris. Right, in the Midwest, you had um, Bone Thugs and Harmony. You had Twister. Um, what was the other? Were those cats from Midwest? Creature Comfort, smoking on hay in the middle of the bar, and I think those cats was from there too. Then you had the West Coast. So things were moving fast. You had NWA, you had Ice T. 6 in the Morning by far was one of the hardest gangster songs ever hit the scene. Period. In Compton, you had Mixmaster Spade, Toddy T with the Batarang. All these different influences. Um, and not all of them was positive. Not all of them was positive. So we do have to take some responsibility for our kids. We do have to take responsibility for the behavior of our kids or the misbehavior of our kids. It's not my child, but I do have kids that age. I do have kids that age. 26, 27, 23. Youngest daughter just graduated from Cal State Dominguez. We're trying to change how we function around here. Getting back to young Dolph, young genius. I don't know about genius, but listen, the man knew how to make money. He knew how to make a lot of money. Anytime you do that, you're going to get people that just don't like you because they haven't figured out a recipe for their success yet. So always understand that with success comes people that are not going to appreciate your success. It's not their success. So you have to be careful. Be careful. We got Draco the Ruler that died. Right? Back it up. Before Draco, we lost Slim 400. All respect due to the Slim. Slim was a friend of mine through my cousin Wookie. Wookie introduced us a few times. We come by the house, they hung out a few times, and just chill. We'd be on the road sometimes, just hanging out. Solid individual. Loved his daughter. Good people. Shot and killed horrendously. Somehow the ring cam footage footage of his murder was put all over the internet. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. Salacious. Why do people want to look at that kind of stuff? All right. Well, once again, rest in peace to Slim. Keep it moving for the city. We had Draco the Ruler. He died right after. Another upcoming local LA cat that was really on his game. I mean, really, really on his game. I think he made some bad choices as far as some of the politics is concerned here. But, I mean, I think, once again, it goes back to that ego and male bravado. You can't tell me what to do, and then if you do, I'm going to go against the grain to prove that my faction or my flow is stronger than yours. Is it right? Is it wrong? We don't know. I mean, but it is what it is. And if we're getting to some of the root of the problems that young black men have in America, we have to talk about that. Nobody want to turn nothing down. You got the internet now, so you have a bigger audience. So now that pressure to not turn it down is elevated and exasperated by each viewer that's viewing that live or that footage of you getting down or you arguing or somebody getting loose with you. Now you got a big audience. So now you feel more pressure to respond. Something that might have been small, you know what? All right, man, just go about your way before I have to put hands on you. No, I'm finna turn up. You got an audience, so I'm finna show. We gotta get away from that because that attitude is the reason that a young man didn't make it home this morning. Probably got kids. I'm not sure. I'm not up on the Migos and the membership and their families and stuff like that. I'm from a different generation. I respect their move. I know they do big things, but I'm not in tune specifically with their music. I do know some of the bigger songs, Walk It Like I Talk It and things like that, but I couldn't tell you their full and complete catalog. Recently, we had P&B Rock killed at Roscoe's. Couldn't find out it's a whole little plot. Roscoe's is good, but I mean, I'm gonna say the same thing everybody else say. I was born and raised here. I done been there a few times, but I mean, just going in the parking lot. There's a liquor store there, cubby hole, some other little businesses, people sitting on the stairs. It's looking like a straight hangout. Why is you over here? Why? Why? Some stuff just ain't worth it. And to come to find out, it wasn't even the cats in the parking lot that gave up the skinny. It was the cook in the back. If I'm not mistaken, and they sent the word out to this person, and boop, 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 and within 15, 20 minutes, they had somebody up there scouting, and then they went back and got another car, and they did the move, I mean, it moved fast, bro. They blamed it on that girl. Oh, she dropping pins or whatever. No, it was the cook giving up the skinny. I mean, think about it. Somebody in there, an employee. You come in there with the chain jingling langing. Come up there with that chain jingling langing. But anyway, condolences to him and his family. I heard some interesting stuff about him and his situation, because of his I mean, it was pretty much plain and simple, open shut. The man was shot and killed, meaning P&B Rock. The family didn't want an autopsy. Apparently, their religious beliefs just didn't mesh with that. So LA was giving them a little hard time, and they were able to hash that out and work that out. So they were able to get that taken care of and get the body back to the family without having it disturbed any more than it already was. So that was a blessing. And these are just inside things, and some of the things that we come across at NFOM, and we express and bring it out. But I'm saying it's just we keep going round and round and round and round until we're desensitized. I was having conversations with my cousin Trey of Raw Media, and the news cycle now is being fueled by hip hop. Hip hop. You had Whack 100, who's synonymous with attention on Clubhouse and YouTube and Instagram. Rightfully so. I think he's positioned himself in a great position. When you look at his business model and his strategy, it's based around attention. If you're doing social media situations, you need attention. You can get attention, you can get advertising. I'm pretty sure there are some deals being made in reference to some advertising and the audience that this man is garnishing around what he's doing on Facebook, not Facebook, I'm sorry, YouTube, and specifically Clubhouse. Okay? You would say, well, Whack 100 is not hip hop. Well, he is. He represents the game. He represents Ray J, R&B, hip hop. If you can't say game is hip hop, you hate. Period. For whatever you want to do about him, game hold his own. And he hip hop, and he West Coast. So by virtue of Wack being affiliated with him, then he's a part of that, and he's parlayed that. Um, he has parlayed that attention that has put him in a great position. Got a studio up, several stages and situations over there on Clubhouse. Shit, he got his own diaper company. He probably gonna buy Clubhouse if he ain't bought it already. But he definitely got hella stock up. His stock is up as it relates to Clubhouse. You got Kanye West all over the news. Let me back it up and respect that man. You got Ye all over the news. Daily. If anybody, he's been the one that's been able to Whack 100 and Ye have been able to outlast the 14-day news cycle. Meaning their names will have continued to ring past 14 days. That's why they are who they are. The news cycle moves so fast, things happen so fast that you hear about something, oh, you hear about this tragedy, you hear about a school shooting and you forgot about it 3 days later, 2 days later. Because some of the stuff is becoming so redundant, we're becoming numb. I read a statistic that said that there have been 40 school shootings this year. 40 school shootings. Well, rapping is not the only dangerous occupation. Being a student in America has become a dangerous occupation. At any given day, we got people going up on these campuses with AR style rifles, multiple magazines, and making a stand against children. Listen, I don't advocate for no violence, but I will say, you cowards, if you really want to go out, take your ass up in the police department like the Terminator did, where people have sworn to protect human lives are there, and they don't hesitate and won't hesitate to knock your silly self down. Don't go into a school where ain't nobody got no weapons to defend themselves. That's cowardly on so many levels. And I know my conversation is going on to a different tangent, but I'm sorry. I went there. It goes back to, like I said, we have to have a better understanding and respect for life. And I'm going to say that in every show if I have to. We have to have a better understanding for human life. And until we do, we can't expect other people to have respect for our lives. You know, the black life that need to matter is the one that's about to expire, regardless of who's doing it, initiating the expiration. A white cop or another black man. Both need to value the life that's being snuffed out. I mean, do that make sense? I can't look at Jim Bob, state trooper that killed a black man, and don't be mad at J. Bo that killed a black man. A black life needs to be valued all the way around. we shouldn't have to be reminded that Black Lives Matter. And no way am I associated or affiliated with that movement other than to support the sentiment. Hip hop lost a very um, influential young man last night. I know the Migos have been going through their issues as a group lately, but this here is devastating. And so my prayers go out to all of them, to Quavo and Offset. Whatever their issues or problems may have been in the past, I'm pretty sure that's out the window right now. Their brother has been lost. And so I pray for that healing over there. And I hope y'all can pull it together. Not front office material takes our hat off to you, man, and we respect you guys in your time of mourning. We're going to say nothing but positive words from here on out in respect to the situation. I don't know, you guys. It's a little somber. I don't want to keep going over the same stuff. If you have any comments, please feel free to fill in the comments below. I will get back to you as soon as I humanly and possibly can. This is the NFON podcast, not front office material, where we speak about the things that everybody think about but don't want to speak about. Um, we could be reached directly on YouTube at Media Development Inc. Once again, that's at Media Development Inc. Spelled out, one word. Check us out. We have other content from the Compton Edition podcast. We have snippets of the Christian Coffee in the Morning show that is exclusive on Instagram every morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check out little bro. They get into relationship issues, anything. It get wild over there on the Cushion Coffee Show. So we want you to send some support over there, as well as helping us out here at Media Development. Hit that like and subscribe and notification, and we will get back to you when we can.